Welcome to this week's market analysis, and we are looking at the US market. This is S&P 500 ETF SPY. This week we have presenting a little bit of a difference in the format, as I'm putting the weekly and the daily charts together side by side so that we can have a clearer picture of the reference point on the weekly chart as well as in the daily chart. So let's take a look at the weekly chart and also orientate ourselves on the daily chart. Basically, this down move on the daily chart here is just this down move on the weekly chart, and the up move is this up move on the daily chart here and on the weekly chart. So let's take a look at the weekly chart first. On the weekly chart, we still see a uptrend and still intact, although we have a up move here, but the spreads narrows, and then we see the down move, and this is the biggest down move on this up move here, and spread is wider on the down move. So that suggests that there's some weakness that's coming into the market, and we are probably going to see more downside. However, we see a shortening of a thrust at this weekly bars here, and then we see this demand overcoming supply, and we have an immediate response to the upside. But on this up move, we are seeing a little bit of more choppiness in this up move as compared to the ease of movement coming down. So there is some struggle to move this S&P 500 ETF up. But if we look at the bars closely, we are seeing some firm closes on the up bars, and we are also the up bars are making higher lows here. And then on the down bars, we are not seeing a close on the low, but we're seeing a mid-range close or close off the lows here, and spreads are narrowing. So there is a suggestion that this up move might want to continue upwards, and this week we are closing above the high of previous week, and but it's in the mid-range, so there is some selling coming in at the high, as we see a rejection of price at the 137.80 level on the weekly chart. If we coordinate this chart with the daily chart, and we are also seeing this big down move with ease of movement coming down, and then we also some ease of movement here, but we see a shortening of a thrust here, and there's a ease of movement coming up. Immediate response from this shortening of the thrust is coming up. But on this down move here, we see some increase in volume, but on the up move, we are not seeing much increase in volume, and that's probably the reason why we see a choppiness of moving up. However, we are not seeing this immediate uptrend being threatened, as we see a higher lows and higher highs being made. We are not seeing a lower low yet, as if we coordinate the lows, swing lows here as on the weekly bars, we are also seeing the higher lows on the up bars. So that is more of a sign of strength here. However, because we still have to take note of the background, because we do have supply in the background at this range here. As what we can see on the daily chart, we have this down bar closing on the low, and this down bar closing on the low, both with high volume. And I mark a box on the crossover of these two bars, which is the high of this bar here to the low of this down bar here. And we can see that price has came up into this range, this zone here, and then we have a sell-off. Supply came in, price in response to the downside, and then we make a second attempt, but this time we have an up thrust, and then we have some sell-off on the last bar here. On the overall structure on this up move, we see a shortening of a thrust, as also be indicated on the weekly chart. There's some shortening of a thrust here, and then we have an up thrust. So that does suggest that there might be some weakness coming into the market in the coming week. But on this up move, I will not pay a lot of attention on the up thrust. I would think that coordinating with the weekly chart, we see some strength on this up move here. We might be seeing a trading range in the coming weeks, and probably the range will probably be within the high of this bar to probably in the midpoint area here, probably in 135 area, chopping around this level here. And because I think supply is quite heavy at this level here, so we probably might see a absorption behavior in the coming weeks. I may give a little bit possibility of that happening, but if we do see some great selling coming in with widespread down bars closing on the lows and approaching the low of this bar here, which this is the low. If we're going out of this uptrend, if we break this low, we have a lower low, first lower low here, then this up move is ended. So we will have to watch out for that happen, but the way that I see it on this up move here, we have more strength than weakness on this up move. So I would think that with the structure weakness, it just probably going to be a sideways movement for the S&P 500 in the coming weeks. And this is more of a coordinating between the two time frames on this picture here, and that is also my take on the S&P 500 ETF in the coming week. So let's take a look at the Jakarta Composite Index next. This is Indonesian market, and we are looking at the Jakarta Composite Index, and the same thing, I have placed the weekly and daily chart side by side. So let's orientate ourselves with the weekly and the daily chart. So basically this up move is this up move on the weekly chart here, and the weekly chart on this down move is this daily down move here, and then we have the recent rally, and this is the rally on the weekly chart. So on the weekly chart, what we are seeing here is that we have the biggest down move here since this up move, and it has made a lower low, but it has not able to take out this low here, and then we see demand overcoming supply and push this bar prices all the way up and close above the previous week's close, and almost coming to the high. Volume didn't came in, so there isn't really a selling climax here, but the price action does suggest some climatic action here. Then we see a hesitation of going down, even though we have an increase in volume. There's no ability to move down, and then we have an immediate response to the upside. And from all these bars here until this minor pullback, we are seeing a higher low on and higher highs on the bars, and we have seen some pretty good closes, mid-range closes or closing on the highs. And then on this pullback, we have another close on the high. And then this week we try to break out of this week's high, this weekly bar high, and then we got rejected, but we are closing just slightly below the high of this week weekly bar here. And on the daily chart, this level here corresponds to this level, which is the 4090 level. And then we have seen this up move, a pretty strong up move. We are gap up, and then we are closing not on the lows in the mid range, closing on the highs, and then we come up to the resistance of this high here, and then we see prices just hovering around that area, and didn't really see an ability to sell, or from sellers to come into close price all the way down to the low, or even coming back to this close to, or this gap to close it. And of course we do see some upthrust here, but in the background we are not seeing any weakness. Instead we are seeing some minor pullbacks which did not really take out the midpoint of the immediate up move here. And then we see some upthrust here, but the bars are not suggesting that there's supply coming in. Instead we do see some consistent series of volume on this up move here. So we might probably get a pullback, but I would think that is just a normal correction and not a turning point. Because we do see strength here, we do see a spring on this bar here, and then we do see the up move with increasing volume. So those are the stories that is supportive of a further up move in the Jakarta Composite Index. If not, a further up move will probably be a sideways movement along this area here, probably trying to absorb whatever supply is coming at this level here. But I have to bring you to attention that we are coming into a zone, a supply zone between this high to this low here, and we have seen 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks of sideways movement with increased volume. As you can see, the volume increase. This is the highest volume I think among this chart, except for this one, but it's the group of volume that is coming in here, which is very high. But we do not see any progress to the upside, and we see the spreads very narrow. So this distribution or the supply zone. So price is now coming back into this this supply zone, and if it does goes up next week or the coming week, I would expect a very heavy selling or supply coming in at this level here, which is 4171. It is in the midpoint of this range. I would expect some supply or some heavy supply coming in at this level here, because this might represent a lot of people getting trapped at this level. I would be surprised that it will knife through this zone easily, or it may not react a little bit and then come back or do absorption along this area here, because I would think that absorption at this level will probably be more meaningful to absorb whatever supplies is going to come in, and then when you move up to here, do another absorption if this market is going to rally up and make a new high for this year. But at any moment at this time here, if you look at the price structure, it does suggest that it wants to go up, and we do see a hesitation of price going up. Also, that we are not seeing selling coming in, as price suggests that sellers are trying to move price down, but they are not able to do so. So I would expect probably minor pullback to come at in the coming week along this area here, but it will probably present itself more like a absorption behavior rather than a turning point all the way down to take out the spring bar here, which I think would be a very unlikely scenario that it will come back into the spring bar on this bar here, because this spring bar is a high volume spring bar, which it just suggests that the absorption at this level here, just make sure the buyers make sure that the sellers are all being absorbed, and then push the market all the way through to the high of test of the 4090, and then we are now seeing hopefully to see some absorption at another absorption area built up at this level here. So that's my take for the next week, this coming week for the Jakarta Composite Index, and we'll go to the Hong Kong market next. This is Hong Kong market, and we are looking at the Hang Seng Index. This is the same thing as we put the weekly and daily chart side by side, and let's orientate ourselves to the chart. Basically, this down move is starting from here to here, starting from this down move, and then we have an up move here, which is here, and then we have the big down move on the weekly chart, which is on this daily chart here. Then we have an up move on the daily chart, which is the weekly chart here. Then for these two bars, the last two bars on the weekly chart, the down bar is here and the up bar is this week. So basically on the weekly chart, we are still seeing some higher highs and higher lows, and not really in a very clean manner, which I would think there's probably a bigger trading range rather than an uptrend as forming. But nonetheless, in the short-term trend is that we do have a slight lower high and a lower low and a lower high put in. But on this up move here, we are seeing some pretty good up bars closing on the high, firmly on the highs, and we do see some down bars which closing on the lows. But if you compare the down bars here, they are closing on the lows, but they do not have follow through to the downside. Immediately we do see some buying coming in and push Hang Seng back up and making a higher high, and then we see it coming down, and then now this week we are making an inside bar. So we still have to see what next week is going to put in. However, I would say that sellers have two opportunities to bring the market down, but they are not able to do so. So I think the bias for Hang Seng is due to the upside rather than to the downside. But we have to take note that on the weekly chart, we are negotiating this down bar here, this supply bar, which correspond to this volume here, which is a little bit high. So there might be some time that Hang Seng might just spend just probably go to negotiate around this resistance level at the 19869 level, just below the 20,000 level. So we probably have to watch out for it. If there is some selling coming in, we're probably going to see another pullback. But hopefully not to see any follow through to the downside, just like these two down bars here. Corresponding to the daily chart, we have this big down move, and then we have talked about this pullback, and then on this pullback we see much ease of movement to the upside, although we see some ease of movement to the downside, but the corresponding upward movement is also with ease of movement to the upside. And then on this down move here, on this down bar on the weekly chart, we do see some good movement down, but we do see some hesitation. And then on this bar, which is on the last week, we have or the previous week, we have a high volume down bar closing on the low, but we do not have any follow through to the downside and the next two bars, which I thought is probably might be a no demand, but it's still not very clear for me because I'm still in doubt whether this is a no demand bar. But next bar, which is on the Monday, we did rally back up above the high of the no demand bar or the narrow spread bar here, and then but we closed back down, but we do not close below the low of below the close of the narrow spread bar here. Then instead, with the next day we gap up and then we negated this down bar here. So that is just telling us that probably this selling might just be a minor selling climax on the lower time frame, and then we do see some buying coming in, and market just levitates up because we do not really see much volume coming in, and then we do see a test back down to the lows or the gap here, and then we see another gap up to challenge this high here, and coming towards the resistance on the 19869. But the closes, just notice the closes, we are all closing on the highs, and which quite firm, and on the last bar is a narrow spread bar, so I'm not thinking much about a no demand, but I would think that from the price action is just telling us that Hang Seng is going likely to come back to this level for a test, which I think is quite critical because on this bar here we do have some high volume narrow spread bar, which is a capping action on this up move, and then the market response to the downside. So there is some supply that exists at this level here. So Hang Seng, when Hang Seng comes back up to this level, we have to pay attention because there might be a supply coming in and probably have another minor pullback. That is why I would think that it's a pullback. If the pullback comes this week, this coming week, then I would not hope to see it go below the mid of this range here, the midpoint of this range, and hopefully to stay above, and then build another narrow spread or narrow trading range just to absorb whatever supply or the 20,000 level supply at 20,000 level, then prepare Hang Seng to move it through. But nonetheless, if we see the background on the weekly chart with such a good closes, I would think that possibility of Hang Seng breaking out of this level is very high, and also to trade above 20,000 is also high. So that is my take for the Hang Seng market next week, and we'll go to the Singapore market. This is Singapore market, and we are looking at the STI index. Same thing on the weekly chart and the daily chart by the side, and let's orientate ourselves to the chart. So this sideways movement is represented by this sideways movement on the weekly chart here, the down move in May, and this is the down move in May, and then we have the rally from June to July, and this is from June to July's rally. Alright, so from the weekly chart, we see something like a V-shaped recovery. The only word I can say is that this is awesome. This is an awesome uptrend in the STI. Very, very impressive. As you can see on the up move, there is no pullbacks. Basically, there is no pullbacks on this 2 months, and we have just made a new high for this year, and in this week. So it is very impressive. I really run out of words to describe this. And basically from this sideways movement, and then we see this sharp move down in 1 month on May, and we wipe out most of the gains in the entire year. But when we comes down to the low here, we see a shortening of a thrust, and then no net progress to the downside on the closes. Volume is consistent. There we have a response to the upside, and on the up bars you can see that the closes are all very, very firm on the highs, except for this bar we close in mid-range, but they are all high, closing on the highs, closing firmly, and only on this week we have a narrowing of spread and closing in the middle. So there is supply that's coming into the market with an increase in volume. That is expected because this area, we are coming into this area of supply. We have 3 months of sideways movement, and all the closes are all clustering together at this level here. So I was expecting some pullback to come in this week, but this week is just surprising me on the upside, and the most surprising thing is that it made a new high for this year, and then it closed in the middle. So this up move on the weekly chart here is very strong, and never think of short, we have to think of a long. And basically on the pullback, whatever pullback that we have, probably has an opportunity for to go long. However, if we look at the daily chart and on this sideways movement, and we are seeing the movement up on the, these two waves here, one wave up and one wave up, then this is a third wave up. Basically we are seeing the up wave is shortening, and now we have spreads getting narrower, as we can expect this to happen because we are coming into the supply zone as depicted by the weekly chart here. And then we see this up move through the old resistance, but we was higher prices was rejected and we closed below the resistance, so it makes something like an upthrust. On the weekly chart is upthrust here, so it makes an upthrust, and then we are seeing some pullback. Volume is not following with the pullback, so there is not much supply that's coming to the market at this moment yet. So but I would expect some supply to come in when it's probably going to spend a little bit more time in this level here, just to hopefully to absorb. But by the look of things, and also on the up move here and all the very good closes and all the things that is happening on the upside, I would think that this V-shaped recovery, it looks like a shakeout on on a much larger scale, which if we going to squeeze the chart, and we can see that we have a down move, and then STI was just trying to chop around here, doing some accumulation and some buying going on here, and then we starts to move up, but we was rejected, and then now it comes down and it goes back up. If we combine this together, it looks like a terminal shakeout, which Wyckoff talks about at the end of a accumulation. So not sure whether this is the terminal shakeout or not, but by the look of the move to the upside, it is very, very strong. And for the coming week, I would expect STI probably to spend another week in this range here, trying to absorb if the shakeout it has not really shaken out the excess supply. But by the look of this uptrend here, I would think that supply may have already been shaken out quite a fair bit, and then the weak holders may have been shaken out for quite a bit. And then if that's the case, then the sideways movement will probably be a very short one, and then we will see a breakout of the new high, and trying to venture up to the higher level of the 31,000 level will probably be the next target. And on this up move, if you can see the characteristic of this up move here is very impressive. We have 8 weeks of consecutive up bars. Okay, a closing up bars means that it closes in positive region, positive, close positive. So the 8 consecutive weeks of up bars, and on this up move is also doing a very impressive thing. We have 8 consecutive higher low bars with only 1 down bar in this up move. So it's very impressive, and but we can see the shortening of the up wave here, and also the narrowing of spread. So I would expect some pullback to come in the STI now, and probably hopefully to shows us some absorption behavior for a slightly longer period, just to make sure that the excess supply is not existent or exhausted at this level here. So you to prepare STI to move up to the 31,000 level. Next, I would want to show you one chart, because this is a rally on the month of July. So I was quite curious, just for the fun of it. In this chart, the bars highlighted are all in this is a weekly chart of STI, by the way, and I highlighted the bars on the month of July. And you can see that pre-Lehman crisis, we are actually on the month of July, we did pretty well on the average. That it was a almost a up month. Okay, basically this is up, this is down, this is up, up, up. Okay, 2 downs. Okay, then this is three downs. Now it's equal. There's 4 downs, but since after Lehman crisis, it is consecutively 1, 2, 3, and now we have a 4th up months for July. So I don't know whether this is a pre-National Day rally or not, but as you can see, after the up move, we have some pullback, this is more serious pullback here, and who knows, we probably may have a pullback probably another 2 weeks later. Who knows? Statistically, this is showing us some pullbacks here, so probably we might probably expect some pullbacks to come in as well. Also, we are coming into a level of resistance. It's also coming level of resistance, for this. It didn't really come back into resistance, but come back into more of a high volume down bar here, so it goes sideways. So who knows, it might just play out this way. But anyway, just for fun, and but we are still reading the charts, so we're reading the volume and the price action to determine whether what kind of future course or future path of the STI to move to. So this is my take for the STI for the coming week. So I wish you trade well, have a great trading week, and I'll talk to you next week. Thanks.